What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, that Pens fan 412, and I'm coming back at you with another Penguins victory, y'all. Let's talk about it. Listen, going into this game, first of all, it was a road game. I was worried. Second of all, it was a road game in Canada. I was double worried. And then thirdly, Christian Jarry was starting. It was like the trifecta of worry in this season, right? Um, However, pleasantly surprised I was, and we'll find out why. Hear it out. As you guys can probably tell by the title of this video, I called it Saturday Showdown because it's exactly what we got. Um, and essentially, what went down is as follows: the Pittsburgh Penguins walked in to the Winnipeg Jets Saturday, or yesterday, or Saturday, November 19th, 2022, if you be more specific, with one goal and one goal in mind, and that is to bring home the dub. Whether that be 2 points, 1 point, you never know. As long as we bring home a dub for the fans, because I'm sure they noticed the abysmal attendance at the last home game. They're probably worried that people are starting to lose confidence. And when you start Tristan Jarry on the road in Canada, as we've seen time and time again at the beginning of this season, you can understand why people start to lose confidence. But I officially have a new phrase for Tristan Jarry. I'm going to call it controlled frenzy. I'm going to steal that from a catchphrase they used to have about Kofi Kingston in WWE, controlled frenzy. That's Tristan Jarry. He's controlled frenzy. What does that even mean? That just means that sometimes he's a frenzied goaltender, and then sometimes he's very controlled, and then sometimes he can control his frenzy. Now, why I'm saying that is because in this game specifically, Tristan Jarry, while he still looked a little bit all over the place as he's had practically all season, he also, when we needed him to lock in, he locked in. It wasn't like our defense was playing particularly great because the opportunities were shoveling in. Don't get me wrong. In a game where there was an even amount of shots on goal at 32 apiece, and honestly, it was rather even for most of the game, except the Penguins had a ton of takeaways. But we'll get to that. Both goaltenders, Connor Hellebuck, like, credit where credit is due. That man was keeping his team in because their defense was just about as abysmal as ours in a lot of situations, leaving the goaltenders to have to cover up and essentially play everything, defense and goaltending, to minimal success on one side and very good success on the other side, our side being that side. Because in the first two periods, there were a lot of great opportunities. Sidney Crosby had a great opportunity, had a nice little 1T pass. Connor Hellebuck said, nah, B, sorry, can't help you there. And then you flip it the other way around, and I believe Connor had a really good opportunity. Scheifele had a really good opportunity. Shuba Jabalula, I do not know how to pronounce that guy's last name. I apologize. Winnipeg Jets fans, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Long hair, man. Used to play for the Washington Capitals. I think he was drafted by the Washington Capitals, now that I think about it. A little bit deeper there. He had a nice opportunity. The defense it had its moments where defense was solid, but I don't know. I haven't watched a lot of Winnipeg Jets games this season, but watching Penguins games this season, I can tell you right now, where there's marginal success defensively, there is massive failure ahead, usually, and that's what really irks me. However, 53 seconds into the third period, Crosby's line gets a shift. Has a good time, great time, lovely time. And then They get off the ice, and Gino's line gets on. Evgeny Malkin, Jason Zucker, and I believe it was Rickard Rakell in this game. They're flapping Rakell and Rust around. The R's get moved constantly. I'm sure that's great for their stability and chemistry on lines, but they seem to make it work, right? As long as you got solid pieces, you can move those guys around and see what happens. And boy, do we see what happened. Malkin, for what was it? For his fifth goal this season, Jason Zucker passes it. Well, I'm sorry. Jeff Petrie passes it to Gino. Gino gets it over to Zucker, who is on the right wing, is offhand, just like a lot of the goals he's had this season, and he just rifles it past Hellebuyck. And it's a 1-0 game. Just like that, the Penguins are on the board, and the battle of goaltenders is, well, it takes another turn in the story. Tristan Jarry is still outrageous, and to be honest, Zucker being that open and having the opportunity to make that perfect shot that goes past Hellebuyck, yeah, it's not really on Hellebuyck at that point, man. I mean, Malkin's he's always been a great playmaker. He always knows how to get the puck at the right place at the right time for the most part. And Zucker capped it off, and Hellebuyck shows the first chink in his armor. But boy, that was not the worst chink in the armor. Let's talk about the next goal, right? So this is one of those games that it was later at night, and it was so close to the point where I'm sure there's a lot of people that went to bed. Like the moment that Zucker scored, like some Pens fans might have stayed up, but they were like, you know what? We're just gonna go to bed. Like some people had confidence in their team. Some Pens fans have confidence in the Penguins. We got this. It's been a long game. It's been defense and goaltending catastrophe the entire time. Somebody finally scored. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then it doesn't help that for the rest of the third period, until like the last couple minutes, it went back to being a goaltending spectacular. But then Connor Hellebuyck. Now, if you watch hockey YouTubers, there's this guy by the name of Steve Dangle. He's a fan of the Toronto Maple Leafs. Very, very, he has a very heavy influence on why I do this, because I love the guy's videos. I really do. And I feel for him because he's cheering for a team that should be so much better than what they are, usually. So I feel for him. But there's a line that he has that, I don't want to steal it outright, because I'm not going to steal it outright. That's his thing. That's what he does on his videos. But Connor Hellebuyck, bro, you have to stay in the goal. Like, this man was perfect for, the majority of the game. And then in the last minute and a half, decided, I'm going to do some crazy stuff real quick. And the Winnipeg Jets are just like, what are you doing? Just play goalie, please. We'll figure it out. I mean, we only got a minute and 30 seconds left, but we'll try to figure it out. You don't have to be crazy. Connor Hellebuyck, he's like, you know what? I already got the weight of the team on my back. Let me just try to shuffle some of this weight forward. The problem he made is he tried to do that with Sidney Crosby covering him. Crosby was hot on his tail the moment he left the net to go for the puck. Crosby's like, oh, well, I'm sorry to inform you, but this is not going to work for you. This is not going to end well. And Crosby does what Crosby does, and he steals the puck off of the goaltender, who is well out of his crease, well out of his net, trying to make a play so his team could get some offense down the ice. And he gets it stolen off of him by Sidney Crosby, who immediately passes it to Brian Rust, who immediately puts it in the back of the net for a 2-0 lead, Pittsburgh. And, yes, just goalies. Hellebuyck. Be a goalie, bro. Just be a goalie. Your team, if they're not going to win the game because they can't get offense, Don't try to rush out and get a puck when you know Sidney Crosby's the one chasing that puck. It's not going to work out. And Connor Hellebuyck is a good goalie, and I've seen him make some spectacular passes in this such occasion. But he went up against Crosby. That takes balls, and that takes a lot of stupidity. And it led to the Pittsburgh Penguins having a 2-0 lead, which then led to the last minute of the game where the Winnipeg pulled their goaltender, and then Jake Gensel, with I think like 3 seconds left, puts it in the back of the net, ends the game, 3-0 Pittsburgh. Tristan Jarry with the shutout. First shutout of the season. Controlled frenzy. Tristan Jarry out here. There were times in the game where he looked spectacular. There were times in the game where I was admittedly very nervous. However, get a shutout on the road in Canada, Jarry in net. That's pretty good. You can't complain there. That is 2 points that are well deserved by the Pittsburgh Penguins. Let's get to the stats real quick. First, I'm going to start with the 3 stars. Of course, Tristan Jarry, first star of the game with Shuddy, 32 save shutout. Evgeny Malkin with the second star, having the beautiful assist on the game-winning goal. And then Mark Scheifele, because he did admittedly have a lot of good opportunities and provided a lot of good opportunities for his team. But it was in vain because it didn't work out for him. Stats-wise, like I said at the beginning, it was a 32-32 shot game. Face-off-wise, Winnipeg was a wee bit better than us. None of us could score on a power play. We had less hits than them, which, I mean, to be fair, if I think about it, Winnipeg should out-hit Pittsburgh. They got a lot of bigger body guys out there, so that's fine. A lot of the stuff was really on the Winnipeg Jets for the most part. They had a lot of takeaways. There was a lot of takeaways by Winnipeg on Pittsburgh. But they also had a decent amount of giveaways that we also just gave to them, So congratulations. And, yeah. Would you look at that? That's it. The Pittsburgh Penguins walk into the Winnipeg Jets on Saturday, the 19th of November, 2022. And they take home 2 points with a 3-0 shutout. Tristan Jarry with a 32-save shutty. I thank you all for watching. If you like the video, give it a like. If you dislike the video, give it a dislike. I expect honesty from everybody. And if you're new here and you like the video, not only like it, give a little subscribe. I'm at 13 subscribers trying to get to 20. That's 7 more people. If there are 7 people that watch this video that aren't subscribed, give it a little subscription. Hit that little subscribe button. Hit that little bell notification icon. I'm telling you. Having full perspective of many teams on YouTube from watching other YouTubers talk about their teams has given me more enlightenment when it comes to judging and watching hockey games. And yes, I'm sure if you're a Pittsburgh Penguins fan, you love to hear somebody who loves Pittsburgh talk about Pittsburgh. And if you're a fan of another sports team that, say, for example, might have lost to Pittsburgh or have beaten Pittsburgh, I'm sure you'd love to hear a Pittsburgh fan talk about why their team deserved to lose or lost that game, or why, just full perspective of hockey. I'm trying to help provide that marginally. But again, thank you all for watching. It's been fun. It's been real. Pittsburgh with a shutout. The Saturday night showdown is over. Thank you all, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.